This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important update to share with you. President Biden signs a brand new bill, and the White House is ready to make a deal and bargain for those $3,000 checks. President Biden gives good news about the economy. I'll play you the video clip of what he says there. Joe Manchin may be switching from the Democratic Party as well, following Kyrsten Sinema's steps, and Joe Manchin's bill may make it into the bigger bill, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more daily, straight-to-the-point updates on matters that financially matter to you. So President Biden signs landmark law protecting same-sex and interracial marriages. I didn't really know that interracial marriages were need to be protected, but anyways, he signed this bill yesterday into law, and it is protecting same-sex marriages, hailing it as a step toward building a nation where decency and dignity and love are recognized, honored, and protected. So yeah, this is what he did yesterday, and then the Supreme Court actually agrees to hear a second student loan forgiveness case. So I thought it was completely shot down, but it looks like Supreme Court is going to give it another try to see if student loan forgiveness can happen. Still no word of what's happening with those 9 million people who erroneously accepted approval status for the student loan forgiveness. I'll let you know what happens with that. And then Joe Manchin, says there's no certainty he will remain a Democrat, which means that he could not remain a Democrat and maybe become independent as Kyrsten Sinema did, or maybe even go to the Republican Party. Probably the first step would go independent. How does that affect the Congress or Senate? Well, that's 2 Democrats lost in the Senate for the Democrats, which means they won't be able to pass as much, which could mean that the Republicans have a lot more leverage now that they have the House and potentially more of the Senate. And the Senate is going to vote on Manchin's permitting amendment to defense spending bill. So the NDAA, the National Defense Bill, basically is going to have Joe Manchin's bill, which was promised to him. So Schumer earlier this year promised Manchin that he'd support his energy approval efforts known as permitting reform in exchange for Manchin's vote on Democrats' major climate, tax, and health bill. So for that Inflation Reduction Act to get Joe Manchin to essentially become the poster boy, go in interviews and saying that he supports it, basically the behind the door deal was Joe Manchin will get his permitting deal, which means that there's less restrictions for energy like gas and oil and coal. So he said, yes, we're going to vote on that amendment. As you know, Republicans blocked it in the House, even though permitting reform is something that they've always supported in the past. So I hope they'll help us and support it, Chuck Schumer said. So Democrats are not for this bill. Mainly it is Joe Manchin that wants that bill done. And then Biden celebrates easing inflation numbers, defends his economic policies. So the core inflation, I mentioned it in yesterday's video, rose only by 0.2% in November. It's the smallest monthly increase in over a year, and report marks the 5th month in a row where the rate of inflation has declined in the United States. And Biden says he hopes prices will return to normal by the end of next year, if not sooner, but stressed he cannot make that prediction. So yeah, there's been many predictions in the past, a lot of empty promises like inflation is transitory, but things are finally going down, and President Biden taking credit for it. Take a look at what he says here.
Where inflation is rising at double digits in many major economies around the world, inflation is coming down in America. In fact, this new report is the 5th month in a row where annual inflation has fallen in the United States. Inflation outside of food and energy, a key measure that economists use, also fell. Make no mistake, prices are still too high. We have a lot more work to do, but things are getting better, headed in the right direction. Most Americans can see the progress driving down the street, finding relief at the pump as gas prices fall. Gas prices are now lower than they were a year ago, and half the gas stations selling gas at $3.09 or less. The most common price for gas stations across the country is $2.99. The decline in gas prices is giving consumers a break. They need helping them keep our economy going. When you have a two-car family, they're saving hundreds of dollars a month. It's a big deal. Today's report contains another piece of good news. Food inflation has slowed last month, providing much-needed relief for millions of families at the grocery store. This is welcome news for families across the country as they get ready for the holiday celebrations and for family dinners. It's also important that we put today's news in a broader context. When I took office, we inherited a nation with a pandemic raging and an economy that was reeling. We acted quickly and boldly to vaccinate the country and to put in place a new economic strategy. A strategy built on an economy that was based on from the bottom up and the middle out. Now, 21 months later, we can see how our economic plan is working. We've added every single month of my presidency, we've added jobs, a total of 10,500,000 new jobs. 750,000 of them are manufacturing jobs. Where is it written, as I've heard me say it before, and I apologize for repeating it, where is it written that America can't lead the world once again in manufacturing? And by the way, remember I talked at length about the need to continue to invest in research and development. Look what's going on from the Department of Energy and the nuclear front. There's a lot of good news on the horizon. The unemployment rate is down to 6.4% when I was sworn in, down from 6.4% when I was sworn in. It's now 3.7%, near a 50-year low. We've done all of this while lowering the federal deficit in the 2 years we've been in office, $1.7 trillion. Let me say that again. $1.7 trillion we've lowered the federal debt. No administration has ever cut the deficit that much. Now inflation is coming down as well. Prices of things like televisions and toys are going down. It's good news for the holiday season. Used car prices fell for the 5th month in a row. New car prices didn't go up this month. That savings is critical to so many families. It gives them just a little bit of breathing room for the holiday season. And all of this means that for the last several months, wages have gone up more than prices have gone up. Wages have gone up more than prices have gone up. I want to be clear. It's going to take time to get inflation back to normal levels as we make the transition to a more stable and steady growth. But we could see setbacks along the way as well. We shouldn't take anything for granted. But what is clear is that my economic plan is working and we're just getting started. My goal is simple: get price increases under control without choking off economic growth. Bring inflation down while keeping our labor market resilient. Build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, an economy with good jobs, good wages, and for the long run, not a boom or bust economy. Because of my plan, we're beginning to see historic investments that are leading companies to invest hundreds of billions of dollars. Let me say that again, hundreds of billions of dollars to build semiconductor factories and other advanced manufacturing right here in America. It's going to create tens of thousands of good-paying jobs in the years ahead.
So what are your thoughts on President Biden? He took credit for, the inflation going down and the economy getting better, but blamed the inflation and everything else going up. So, where do you stand with that? Does he get credit? Does he get the blame? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. And then also here, let's make a deal. White House ready to bargain over expanded child tax credit. So last minute push would concede on a work requisite tied to expanding the credit. So basically, Democrats are trying really hard to get the child tax credit passed, the expanded child tax credit, which is the $3,000 and $3,600 checks for kids. And they want to get that done before the end of the year. The clock is ticking. Not sure if they'll be able to do it, but basically, in order to get it done, child tax credit could be revised as Biden considers accepting work requirements. So originally, President Biden and the Democrats did not want to have a work requirement in order to get a child tax credit. Basically, for any parents maybe who don't have work or going through a hard time, they could still get that child tax credit. But under this new change to it, there would have to be a work requirement in order to get that child tax credit or the expanded child tax credit. So what are your thoughts on that for the child tax credit? Even though if you don't have any kids or anything, do you think there should be a work requirement in order to be eligible for the tax credit, or should it just be given? And then should there be some other type of tax credit for anyone maybe who doesn't have kids, or maybe kids have grown up or out of the house, something to support the elderly community or veterans or SSDI, disabled? Should there be some type of extra credit for them too? Let me know your thoughts on that. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, so my name is Bella. This is the tip of the day. If you make a mistake, then it's okay. You learn from your mistake, it makes you a better person. So it's okay. It's okay. We still love you. We like you a lot. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So Bella's got a dentist appointment today, and yeah, so gonna do that. But so far so good. 0 cavities. She's 9 years old. 0 cavities. I actually only had 1 cavity in my entire life, and I think it was when I was very young. But yeah, I don't really drink soda, no candy. We don't have any soda or candy in the house, so maybe that has something to do with it too. But yeah, so she's got her dentist appointment. I'm curious how that goes. And yeah, anyways, hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you want to check out any of my other videos, my other channels, click right up here. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.